اعوذ بالله من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. الحمد لله رب العالمین، ثم الصلاة والسلام على اشرف الانبیاء والمرسلین، حبیب اله العالمین، سیدنا و نبینا و مولانا ابی القاسم المصطفى محمد صلی الله علیه و آله اجمعین و اصحابه المنتجبین. اما بعد، قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات سيجعل لهم الرحمن ودا. Distinguished viewers, respected audience, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You know that life is based on fundamental principles. Having no principles in one's life creates problems and challenges. And if a person does not have any clear principle in his life, he wanders, he gets confused. He cannot make good choices because his life is not based on certain principles. In order for us not to get confused, in order not for us to get lost, Almighty Allah has helped us existentially and legislatively. Existentially means that Almighty Allah has created us in a way that we like good things and we hate bad things. Every one of us hates lie, and every one of us likes and favors and loves truth. Even those who steal something, they hate that their properties be stolen. So it is something called fitra. Almighty Allah has given us a nature, a primordial nature, an innate nature, a pure nature that discerns, that distinguishes good and bad. Even it is said, if you put an infant or a child or a kid in the forest where he does not have any relationship with others, at the end of the day, he will be able to discern good and bad. He will understand that respecting others is something good and disrespecting others is something bad. So now, what the whole point is that life without principles become terrible and horrific. Almighty Allah has helped us legislatively also, meaning that Almighty Allah has given us books, has sent us books, has sent us guides, has sent us prophets and messengers. What were the main duties of the prophets? The main duties of the prophets were to educate us, to train us, to teach us good things, right? And also to purify us from the dirt of the sins. If you go to the universities, mostly they do not tell you that how to avoid committing sins. But in the universities of the prophets, if you study the books that are revealed by Almighty Allah, in every page you are warned that not to commit sin. Because committing sin makes your innate nature dirty, right? So, our Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, brought the Islamic concepts. And these Islamic concepts are the principles through which we can manage our life. So, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, also being the hero of this revolution, had these principles. He also applied all these principles in his life. Today we are going to talk about this, that these principles are called values. So if we understood the values, we have to respect and we have to love them. Now the question is, are there values Imam Hussein alayhi salam loved them? The answer is yes. There are values Imam Hussein loved most. In one of them, that our holy Imam loved most was to perform prayers. Because Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, Inni uhibbu salah. Verily and indeed I love praying. I love prayers. You know that when prayer comes, we have to think that prayers must be established. Prayers must be performed correctly. It is not a good way to perform the prayers to give it only 1 or 2 minutes, because it shows that how you respect Almighty Allah. If you spend lots of time, 5, 6, 10 minutes, it shows the level of your respect to the Lord. And it is not only something that we should love. Rather, Almighty Allah has said you have to do it. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ. We can recite this verse of the Quran saying or talking about the attributes of the muttaqeen. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةِ. The attributes of the mu'min and the faithful and the pious are this, that they believe in the world of the unseen and also they perform their prayers. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, being one of the best mu'min to Almighty Allah, he was performing the prayers on time. So we, being the followers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, must also act according to Imam Hussein alayhi salam way of life. In another verse, Almighty Allah says, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ. Remember me and I will remember you. You know that remembrance of Almighty Allah brings you contentment. أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. In another chapter and verse, Almighty Allah says that, be careful that your hearts will not rest unless you remember me. Yeah, sometimes the people may misunderstand this, that through music, for example, we may find peace. But practically it has been proven that minds will not get peace with music. So in order for the Muslims, in order for the followers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, be the true followers, in order for them to be the true followers, they have to love what Imam Hussein alayhi salam loved. Otherwise, it will be a kind of mere slogan that yes, we are the followers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, but a person, he does not pray. So he cannot be termed as the true followers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The true followers of Imam Hussein is he who performs the prayers. He who is serious about performing the prayers. Because he says that my master, my imam, my guide, my leader, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, said that inni uhibbu salah. Verily, I love performing the prayers. So you might ask me why it is too much important. Because it is a kind of setting relationship with the Lord, who is the source of perfection, who is the source of everything, every blessing. You can never think of a blessing that should not have started from Almighty Allah. The suns, the stars, the galaxies, the world, the whole universe, everything. They have all started from Almighty Allah. It is Almighty Allah's blessings that now we are taking bread. Almighty Allah says, if 1 second, if I don't let, no one will be able to take bread even. Because everything depends on Almighty Allah. So it is called Tawheed, it is called monotheism, that we believe everything and every blessing starts with Almighty Allah. So we have to thank Almighty Allah. We have to remember Almighty Allah so that we be remembered by Almighty Allah. And then Almighty Allah says, وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. Thank me and do not be ungrateful. See how many blessings Almighty Allah have granted us. Almighty Allah has graciously granted us lots of blessings. Because Almighty Allah says, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you want to count Almighty Allah's blessings, it will not be counted. Because Almighty Allah's blessings are too much. It is countless. It is limitless. Before that you're born, to angels called father and mother, they are held responsible that they have to look after you. Have you ever thought about this? And without you knowing the realities and the facts, all your organs, the stomach, the heart, everything works for you unconsciously. Right? So the whole point is that Almighty Allah has given lots of blessings, and He is the source of perfection. In order for us to be the best servants of Almighty Allah, we have to listen to the words and to the commands of Almighty Allah. May Almighty Allah bless us all to be the true followers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.